Hot water machine. Oh, there's a little redness of it. Oh! But yeah, it really hurt.
Welcome to another episode of Use Your Words Podcast. Aaron, the whole time there, was cringing as he heard himself talk back over the microphone.
I don't know why I have friends.
I'm not going to touch that one right now. No, just kidding. I'm your friend, Aaron. It's all good. So another week, another discussion. We got Aaron across from me this time and Josh to my left. I know I changed the seating arrangement, but the reason is it reduces the echo for me.
Oh.
Because otherwise I had that nice, long, empty area. And since we barely get anything from my left hand here, I figure less echo, it'd be good.
Less echo means more.
Are you actually going to talk?
Means more. What?
More free time.
It actually does for me.
Mm-hmm.
Less echo, more free time. You know what? Speaking of free time, that segues perfectly into this.
Oh! So, is that a hint? Is that a hint of what the word could be?
Some people do this on their free time. Let me play it. If I was to pronounce this, natation.
Natation.
Oh, natation. Apparently, I cannot read either.
Natation.
Yeah. Here's an example sentence that they give you about natation. The unique natation pattern on the flounder has made it a favorite of marine biologists. The flawless form of her natation made her a natural on the blank team. I won't tell you what team it is because I'll give it away.
Natation.
Yep. But if you look at it, when it's spelled Natation. So you're like, wait, that's real close to spelling of nation. What's this natation?
Natation. So you said something about marine stuff.
Yep. But a human can also do this because it will help them on a team of some sort.
The
what?
It has to do with some kind of movement.
Okay.
Right? Wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah. Read the first example again.
The unique natation pattern on the flounder has made it a favorite of marine biologists. Wait, if I said on the, I meant of the. So it's the unique natation pattern of the flounder has made it a favorite of marine biologists.
Man, it's got to be some sort of movement. But what kind of movement? I don't know. How do you describe how it moves? What? Well, I don't know. It's a weird word for performance. I don't know how they. I don't like this word, nor do I like any words.
So take a guess.
It's a movement.
What type of movement?
A very fluid movement.
A very fluid movement.
I don't know.
Okay.
Swift.
Natation means it has two meanings. Either one would have gotten you the answer here.
Okay.
It either means swimming or the act of floating.
I got fluid in there.
Yeah, he did.
Dang it. I mean, I should have.
That's another blue category word, another rare quality word.
Natation.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I'll see if I remember that. Probably won't.
It actually comes from the Latin of the word natare in Latin means to swim.
A Natare.
Natare means to swim. So even though it seems weird and complicated, it's actually kind of a simple word when it's broken down. But I know if I would have said its origin is Latin from the 16th century, you would have been like, what?
I quit.
you still would have been like, I'm done. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Natare. Natation.
Yep.
I like it.
There you go. Now you know how to say that you...
Natation.
So you can now say, guys, I'm going to go and take a natation.
I'm going to go for a natation.
You're like,
what?
You're like, wait, what is that?
You peasants don't know what that means.
Exactly. There you go.
Pish posh.
Pish posh, you peasants. Get out of here. So there's another word to expand your vocabulary there, Mr. Johnson. And
I'll try it.
I doubt I'll ever hear that word from you.
I'll try.
I doubt it.
I'm gonna try.
Are we gonna go in natation at the hotel this weekend?
That is a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there a pool there?
Yep.
I mean, obviously, there's got to be since you just talked about it. So
Marriott's usually come with them, so Marriott's pretty good like that.
True.
So natation. Anyway, Mr. Johnson.
You and me again.
Are you ready to have your brain natation through a lot of ideas?
I don't want my mind to swim through a lot of stuff.
Why not?
Because I need coffee.
You need coffee?
Yes.
You have caffeine in front of you.
I need no.
Oh wait, no, they're both caffeine free.
Neither have caffeine.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So this might be interesting. So the topic I wanted to bring up with you guys, and thankfully this isn't one you necessarily have to do research on, so yay for you, right?
I looked into it a little bit, just obviously to really know what it was.
It'd be like, what is this topic we're even talking about?
Because I remember I guess, do I even mention it now?
Go ahead.
With the I can't speak. The erase culture or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? All it was? I thought it was a weird erase word. I don't know.
Erasure culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. You said this is like similar to it?
Yeah, in a way, it is.
Okay.
So, yeah, because I know we might have chatted real quick about erasure culture a little bit, but cancel culture is kind of like that phrase, that word that's going out, and it's really coming out now in terms of. Okay, I'm gonna preface this with this phrase here. Anything I say is I say. Anything Aaron says, Aaron says. Anything Josh says is Josh says, irrespective of our places of employment. Saying that because some people get butthurt over these things. That's why.
True.
And Aaron's sitting here shaking his head like, yeah, I know. So cancel culture is really an offshoot of social justice warriors in culture nowadays. Where basically, if anything that you say, let's say Aaron comes out and puts something on social media, so that means he would actually have to use social media.
Me? Didn't you say Aaron?
Yeah.
Oh.
You use it once in a while, but you don't.
Very rarely.
But you don't put anything out there, right? But let's say you actually put something out there, right?
Yeah.
Or let's even go farther here. Let's say next year, okay? No, not next year. 5 years from now, okay? 5 years. Because we're going into the future. Because this is how bad cancel culture is, okay? Let's say 5 years from now, all of a sudden society decides that I'm going with something absurd because it usually is absurd. And I'll get to why it's absurd like this in a second. Let's say 5 years from now, they all of a sudden decide if you are a drummer, you should not have an opinion anywhere in culture. Okay?
Yeah.
Or in 5 years, because your dad likes motorcycles, therefore you're an evil person. Okay?
Mm.
But that's all published now. Okay? And if 5 years they decide that that's bad, and then what they'll do is they'll come back and look at a post that you made now, or even in the past. Like, let's say you were a teenager and you posted something you thought was funny and edgy and offensive, and they uncover it, and they go, "Look at this evil person."
Yep. Drag your past out to make you look nasty.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be bad. Yeah, I guess, it's whatever they deem as bad at the time.
Right. And that's the thing. And then what happened, it will come, they'll come back and look at this evil person. We can't allow him to have a job, to have this, and they'll pretty much, well, no, I shouldn't say pretty much. Some will dox people that do this.
Dox. How do you even spell that?
DOX.
Okay.
You know what dox is, right?
It's not good. I know that much. It's not a good word to be used. Well, yeah. Good, not a good thing to happen to you.
Okay, so if I was to dox Josh, I would post in public forums all of his contact information. Phone number, email address, address. Okay?
Yep.
Now, if I was, obviously, Josh, you or me, we're low profile nobodies. Nobody was really going to care. But if you're somewhat famous and you're doxxed,
I'm a rock star.
that could be dangerous for them, especially if you're on the quote unquote wrong side of opinions
of the majority.
Yeah. What was it? I can't remember his name, but it was a race car driver a year or two ago where his father, before the guy was born, his father said something like a racial slur or something. Okay?
Uh-oh.
And the company found out about it and dropped the kid. Sponsorship of him.
That's...
So, of a racial slur that his dad said before the kid was born, that
affects what the kid can and cannot do.
Yeah, they canceled his sponsorship over that.
That's so stupid.
And that's the effects that we've gone to with cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Which is a problem in and of itself. Because what's happening is they're basically taking you back and saying, we can't do that. Now, the problem is when like celebrities and that, try to jump on and, what do you call that? Dogpile on a person, no matter what it is over that happening. And then they're like, oh, but don't do it to us. Don't look at the stuff we did. Look at what happened to Sarah Silverman recently. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, do you know who Sarah Silverman is?
No.
No, do you? Seriously?
No, I don't.
Do you know who Sarah Silverman is, Josh?
Sarah Silverman.
She's a comedian.
Okay.
Has done some offensive things. Okay. She was to be in a movie. And then photos came up of her in blackface from like a skit she did years ago, where she was actually making fun of people doing blackface, but she was in it. So therefore, since she was in blackface, she got canceled from the movie. They literally fired her from the movie because of old photos of her in blackface.
Oh, sounds right. Sounds about right.
James Gunn, what happened to him? Look what happened to him, was it? Few years ago before he was set to take on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, before he was rehired for it. Remember that?
I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. Wait. I'm trying to remember what the third Guardians was about.
It hasn't been released yet.
Wait. Oh, no, they were just in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too many movies coming out too quickly. I don't know.
So he was supposed to be in directing the third one, and then some creepy photos came out with like just it was weird. Okay, the photos that he was in, and people got upset, and these were old photos, and all of a sudden he was kicked off the project. Of course, now he's been rehired back to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3, blah, blah, blah.
What was his name again?
James Gunn. So he also, the other things, so what happened was, it was July 2018. I thought it was a couple years ago. It was just last year. A conspiracy theorist drew attention to tweets that Gunn wrote between 2008 and 2012. Okay, so a little while ago, 6+ years previous to this happening.
Yeah.
And apparently he did jokes about rape, child abuse, and pedophilia.
Does jokes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not defending and saying the jokes were great. You should go read them. Okay. I believe in freedom of speech, regardless, even if it offends me.
Yeah.
Now, it is Disney's right to say, you know what, we don't want to be associated with stuff like that. We're not going to work with you on this. But the amount of outrage of people going, fire him, was ridiculous. Because you know what? If the same accusation or the same lens would be put on any of us for stuff we might have said years ago
We'd
to try
all
to
be
be
screwed.
edgy. Yeah, exactly. All of us. Right, Josh?
Yes, I'll answer for him.
Yeah.
But it's funny. This is starting to make me think of what we were going over in Ecclesiastes.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, how there's nothing new under the sun. Like anything that you've done that could be bad is nothing that somebody else hasn't done out there.
Yeah.
But you could get shamed for it. But and that's, I don't know, that also goes into being a hypocrite, because I'm sure there's people that are out there that are shaming others that have probably done the same thing themselves, but they're not having the gun pointed at them about it. So it's like, I can get away with it. Sickening.
Yeah. And it's, unfortunately, I think it's only going to get worse and worse and worse until it gets better. A lot of the time, I guess you could say, like it was a lot of, up until recently, it was a lot of people on the left trying to cancel culture people on the right because they didn't like them. And then all of a sudden now it's starting to backfire, because they're like, cancel people who do these bad things. And all of a sudden, oh, it's happening to us. Don't cancel us. And it's like, sorry, I hate to see this happen, but you guys have been pushing for it. You're going to get it. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. It goes both ways, my friend.
Mm-hmm. I guess the question is, how far can someone go back in this way to look at someone's mistake and say they messed up, and because they messed up, on this, we can't give them another chance. Okay, I get it. If it was something that, like, let's say they said someone did something very offensive like a month ago. Okay, I get that. And be like, hey, maybe they shouldn't be on this project.
Yeah.
But should we go back 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years?
No.
I mean...
Well, I wish I could remember the politicians' names, but that one guy that was accused of, I don't know, wasn't it raping some girl or whatever? And then they all started going off on him about it. And I mean, they're pretty much trying to either kick him out of whatever position he was in, based on something that they had claimed had happened however many years ago. It's like, why? Okay. What is the need to go that far back in someone's past to just bring them all this, like, I don't know.
To shift any sort of potential actions. That's what I've noticed, is people who point out your mistakes generally have made the same mistake as you in some form or another.
Well, that's just about everybody.
Yeah, I say all of us have made dumb, stupid mistakes. Okay, so I want to distinguish between two things here. There's one thing to accuse someone of maybe like a sexual misconduct. That needs to always be investigated. End of story. Period. Okay, maybe. I said investigated. I didn't say you drag them over the coals until it's,
Well, not even, I mean, I guess.
Because here in America, everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, we like to jump to conclusions on that. Now, sexual misconduct, when I say misconduct, I'm talking like a forced rape or anything like that. I'm not talking they had consensual sex and then the woman regretted it.
Oh, no.
But
I'm saying, even like, okay, if that happened so many years ago, I mean, would you still bother in trying to get that person sentenced for something?
Some might.
That's what happened.
It depends on the on the all the stuff. Now, stuff like that, I don't know if that falls under necessarily cancel culture, because yes, they potentially messed up because we don't know.
Yeah.
And if they did, something like that, where it is an actual crime, like if they rape someone, yeah, they should be investigated and scrutinized. Now, if they do something, I think that's slightly different than saying you, Aaron, tried to do an edgy joke on Twitter or Facebook, and you're being denied jobs because of you trying to be edgy.
No, it wouldn't. But this wouldn't just have to do with jokes.
No.
And stuff like that. I mean, it can be actions.
Yeah, it can be actions. Now, I personally, tell me, I'll ask you this in a second here. Okay. For me, there's a difference between your actions such as, okay, let's go to some extremes here. Raping someone versus saying the N-word. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference in that severity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Raping someone? Yes, investigate. Saying the N-word? That doesn't look good, but I don't know if that's necessarily like, oh, we should never give him a job again.
Right.
And that's actually the word that NASCAR driver's father said.
Of course.
I had to find it here. It was Connor Daly.
Yep, don't know him.
And so
I
his,
don't really
so
know any.
so his dad used a racial slur, the N-word, in an interview in the early 1980s.
Wow.
And so because of that, the company Lilly Diabetes pulled their sponsorship from him, from the son.
That's really ridiculous. That's like beyond, I don't know, ridiculous.
It's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I
There's
mean,
no need for that.
that's where we're at this day and age, unfortunately. It's like, really, we have to be this concerned about a word? I guess we do have safe spaces for offense, for words that you don't like, and in opinions as well. So,
Which, it's not really, it's working its way into becoming not free country.
well, yeah. You take a look at some of the stuff and some of the things that are happening. It's like, how are we going to handle this? But I mean, I'm sorry if an opinion offends you so much that you have to go cry in a safe space.
Might need a little bit of help.
Maybe we need to toughen up the generation a little bit.
That's something I've always didn't understand. It's like, okay, if people have an issue with it, we cater to that emotional side. We don't tell them, hey, you need to toughen up. Hey, this, hey, that. Grow some balls. We don't tell people to do that. Why?
Sometimes it's not appropriate, but there's definitely times where I feel like it would be. Like rub some dirt in it after you get a little scratch on your arm from falling over. You'll be okay. You'll be okay, Johnny. It's fine. Just rub it out. Suck it up.
And I'm saying you don't always have to be like, oh, something just happened and I'm hurt. Don't be like, it'd be like, oh, I have to be a man and tough it out. But
depending on what it is.
well, that's what I'm saying. You don't know, like, okay, your parents both died in a fire accident in front of you. You don't have to sit there and tough it out and not cry. You could break down at that point.
Oh yeah.
Now that okay. But if I come up to you, Aaron, and I go, metal sucks and should be outlawed. That's my opinion. If you start crying, I'm sorry. Grow a pair.
I'll be okay.
I know, but I mean, how dare someone come on campus and have a different political opinion than them?
I feel so attacked.
But you know what?
Personally, like I feel like I'm unsafe right now with you being in this room with me.
You're the one with the knife.
Oh. Don't remind me.
But I mean, it's like,
yeah, it's.
and the thing is, like, if cancel culture, if this thing continues and stays around, I can imagine in 5 years, anything I would have said, I'm going to be like fired for.
Sayonara, Paul.
Anything.
Yeah. Dude, think about whatever we might have said on this, and people just like pull it out and be like, these people don't deserve to work. We can't have their opinions possibly influencing anybody else in the workforce.
Yeah.
Get them out of here. That would be... I don't think that's fair. It's not okay. Is it?
I mean, at that point, I might as well start building a house up in Alaska to get away from everybody.
You won't be able to get any supplies. We're not going to sell anything to you. You're going to have to make your own axe. You have to make it. You ain't buying one.
I have one.
It's going to be taken away. You have to make your own.
Oh my gosh.
You'd be like John, Jake, and I chopping down trees with rocks.
Yep.
That's how you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to rough it out.
What are you going to do the day that somebody looks at you and says they're offended that you're polluting the earth because you have a 72 Cutlass that you drive around?
It's a gas guzzler. You're killing our environment.
No, what's going to happen is the tree huggers are going to find his car, shoot it up, and destroy the engine, and then they'll cancel his car. Literally.
Literally. Yep. So now, if that happens, where's my justice?
Well, see, that's the other thing.
Do I not get any justice now? Because
Nope.
It's not the popular thing anymore.
Because you were on to the popular idea, the opinion.
I mean, what justice do? Okay, so
I want money for what they ruined.
That's an extreme example, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Of how this normally plays out is, let's say Josh was running a business. Okay, Josh was selling lilies out of his yard because he became a famous gardener.
Oh, wouldn't put it past him.
Okay, Josh then goes and shares a very unpopular opinion on here. Okay.
Endgame sucked.
I'm not even going to talk in that one. I'm talking one that was never recorded.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Well,
If that opinion was, and this is, I'm just joking. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if it was that bad where we never recorded and like we will never talk about this again, but somehow it got leaked. Like he talked about it and he brought it up and shared it on here.
yeah.
And let's say that was his only source of income because Amy decided to go do charity work for the rest of her life because Josh was making so much money where where Amy could be a stay-at-home mom with their 10 children and just volunteer, and Josh was just planting flowers all day. Okay?
Yeah.
But he says a very unpopular thing. All of a sudden, a celebrity region goes, I do not like what this guy's doing. And
Let's ruin his livelihood.
exactly. You know how they ruin his livelihood? They boycott him.
Yep.
And by boycotting, they quote unquote cancel him from society by canceling his source of income, by canceling his opportunity to speak, his power, and his ability to influence others.
Sorry, Josh. Gonna have to attempt to find something else to do, but that's not gonna work because you're never making money again.
So Josh, Amy, and their 10 children will be homeless.
One thing I've never understood
3 sets of triplets, by the way.
is if you offend somebody or irritate somebody, let's say you're doing something and it impacts them. Okay, it impacts them in some way to where they take it and make it something big, either on social media or they take it, to the court, and you end up having to change something that you do to appease this person. Okay, you can't do what they just did to you back. That's what I don't get.
No, of course not. But that's just how it is. Because here's why. Because you're the one who had the bad opinion. You're the one who said something either racist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic.
Freaking disgusting.
Or maybe it's a product I had
Sexist.
that offended them or something like that.
Yeah, he wrote on his page, his flower page, get your mother a flower for Mother's Day. That's sexist, and it's probably motherphobic or something like that.
Motherphobic?
No, it's homophobic because it excludes the people with 2 fathers.
Oh, how dare you?
Instead, he should use gender-neutral language like get your parent a flower for Mother's Day.
just say get a flower.
Actually, I have seen that argument. They didn't try to... nope, I take that back. I think they just tried to boycott them, but they failed because they weren't a celebrity who tried to initiate the boycott. So,
Oh, how unfortunate.
but yeah, it's as crazy as that.
That is abs.
Look at it. Look at this even recently. What happened to the 2019 Oscars?
Bro, I didn't watch the 2019 Oscars.
That's they didn't have a host, didn't?
Who was supposed to host it?
I don't recall.
A comedian.
Kevin Hart?
Yes. Are
Are
you remembering this now?
Slowly coming to
So
me.
he was supposed to host the 2019 Oscars, but someone went through his old Twitter feed and found like old tweets where he was making jokes, and they labeled them as homophobic tweets.
What? Okay, now my question now is, do we know who did that?
Who found them? The tweets?
Yes.
I'm sure that it's documented. I don't know off the top of my head.
Because depending on who did that, I guess, what was their reasoning in doing that? Was it because they didn't want him? Well, obviously they didn't want him to do it, but it's like, why did they not want him to do it?
Maybe that person's racist.
Maybe.
One second here.
I wouldn't think so, though.
I could never be a judge. I just
No.
look at the people that bring those cases up to me, and I'd be like, okay, you're wasting my air around me right now. You need to leave.
Well, I just wonder because, like, if for them getting Kevin Hart out of it, were they somehow gaining something?
No, they were just upset that
he would be selected to do it.
right. So here's one of the tweets that so he was promoting a movie called Seriously Funny. No idea about that movie at all.
Nope.
Okay. So it's an old tweet. And he, on the surface, you read it out of context, right? It looks bad. And here's what his tweet said. And it was a joke. But again, you have to read the whole thing. One of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. Apparently that's in context of a joke. Don't know what that is. But they found that tweet, and yeah, and grabbed that and said, he's homophobic.
Kevin Hart hates gay people.
And then all of a sudden,
Or
he was out. He was done.
that's.
And it was,
I feel like how many years ago was that he had said that?
so I was trying to find out. It's
okay.
been a couple years, a few years. Well, let's find out. When did the movie Seriously Funny come out?
I don't. Yeah, that's good. There you go.
Kevin Hart movie Seriously Funny, 2010.
9 years ago.
Okay, and by movie, it's a stand-up comedy special. So that's what it is. That's why I never heard of it. So it's his own stand-up comedy special that he was promoting, that he happened to use that as a joke in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you would have to hear the whole context, and obviously we can't play that because of copyright. But you'd have to hear that whole context to get that whole clip. It's just like me taking Josh's on his on his rant stuff, out of context and stringing it all together. You can string any series of words together and make it sound like anything else.
Yeah. And then just ruin their life.
And so because of that, he stepped down.
See, now, okay. Now, my next question would be, well, okay. Again, but that was used as a joke. So I guess I would ask, what was his actual view on homosexuality back then compared to, well, and then if it was different compared to now, then how is it different? Because it's like, why would, if, let's say he was homophobic in 2010, but now since he's going to be, hosting it, what if he's all for it?
Okay.
And then, but they're like, well, we found this tweet from 10 years ago almost. Oh, well, I'm doing it because that upsets me.
Well, yeah.
But his views are different now. So, like, why would that matter?
I was going to say that does beg that question. What if, exactly like you said, when he made that tweet, maybe he was, and maybe something happened, and I'm just going to throw out a date because I don't know anything on this with him. Okay. Let's say in 2015, he had some experiences that made him change his mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before this, but he never went back and deleted his Twitter.
Oh.
And so, but I mean, they had to go back seriously. 2018, December 2018. They had to go all the way back to 2010 to dig and find this stuff.
Yeah, you had to search for that.
You didn't just happen upon it. You were searching for it for a reason.
Yeah.
To get him removed and canceled.
Which, yeah, that's outrageous. See, that makes me think about the whole that memories thing on Facebook.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff is kind of cool to look back on, but most it's I don't really care.
Yeah.
Why do we have to keep being reminded of stuff, I guess, in the past? At least some of it, because it's well, some things I'd probably rather not remember. Like me posting sad statuses because I was a young teenage kid that was just depressed.
Emotional wreck.
Yeah. I'm just okay, I don't really care to be reminded of that. It's and then, to think that people would try and look back in your past just to make you seem like a piece of garbage.
Yep. Now, I did find something from him from January of this year. So shortly after all this kerfuffle happened and everything, right?
Kerfuffle.
Yeah. What does kerfuffle mean, Johnson?
Stuff.
Okay. And he does say, because now we're in a space where I'm around people of the LGBTQ community, and I'm now aware of how these words make them feel and why they say that hurt me because of what I've been through. So now he understands why people were upset with him for his joke in 2010, if he would have said that joke now. But he said that joke in 2010. This comes back to something else I said before, was leave something in the context of which it was said at that time. Don't try to modernize the context.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's terrible.
You know, you even try to do something like that, you know, even as something simple as, you know, modernizing the context of, let's say, even the Bible.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off.
well, first
That's
off,
different.
Yeah, I say, first off, you have to understand the Bible has different types of literature in it. Okay. So that's A. Okay.
Yes.
But B, you know, culturally, there's some things that are in the Bible that maybe doesn't make sense in our current culture, but makes sense perfectly in there. Like the whole idea of how they got married in that back in the day, you know, with how they were betrothed and how the wedding festival happened and everything, how, you know, the bridegroom came and everything. A whole different ceremony than what we have nowadays. You know, here, you know, you get engaged, you put a ring on her finger. Will you marry me? Yes, I will marry you.
Yeah.
You know, and then, okay, you spend the next year or so planning for a wedding. And then the day of the wedding comes, she walks down the aisle, father gives her away, la-da-da, married. Go have triplets 9 months, 2 weeks later. Okay?
Waiting for it.
There, you know, they get engaged and, you know, they kind of live apart still and everything like they do now. But, you know, one day the groom, he goes, grabs his now wife from the house, and then they have like a week-long celebration. They're married in that.
Yep.
So remember the whole parable of, you know, all the ladies standing outside of like the wedding party, and they have to trim their torches or whatever, their lanterns, and they run out of oil and all that jazz. You know, that makes perfect sense in that culture. Our culture, why are you doing that?
What are you doing that
Yeah,
for?
exactly. What is going on with that? So it's a completely different thing. Now, if we were to try to take that same parable and bring that into current culture context, it's going to fall flat. We have to understand instead the culture context of the time, just like we have to understand the current culture and the current mindset of the people who are being canceled in the time on which they said it. Because when you do that, you're going to find that we're doing a lot of assumptions to those people. We're adding in a lot of assumptions on what we assume they're doing based on the current context of current context of our culture being transposed back in time to a culture that's different.
That can be a new word. Cultics.
I'm sure it is a word.
Cultics. Current culture. Or context culture.
But I mean, seriously, how long are we going to do that for? And it seems to only get worse and worse and worse as we go along.
How do you even get people to stop doing stuff like this? Or, like, you can't talk to anybody and try and correct anyone anymore.
No, you can't.
Nobody's wrong.
And
Everybody's right in their own way.
That's our postmodern world.
and especially if you're a Christian, everybody definitely was not going to want to listen to you.
It's funny. I don't know, hearing stuff about like, well, okay, yeah, about if you talk to someone about like Christianity, I feel like they'd be more turned off if you talk about Christianity more so than if you were like to just talk about Jesus or pray for somebody. Like that's more acceptable. But when you mention Christianity, then it's just like, ugh, ew, just a judgy, no fun, goody two shoes person.
Yeah.
Which I am none of those. Well, I'm not a goody two shoes, at least. Am I?
I don't know.
No, you're not.
I don't.
No, that's Josh's role. Josh is the resident goody two shoe.
Yeah.
How do you stop it?
Yeah. I mean, especially for what? I don't know. The only reason I feel like any of that would have any purpose to it is if somehow you get some gain out of whoever's life it is you're trying to ruin. If it's just a satisfaction that their life is just going to go to shambles now, and that just makes you happy and gives you pleasure, like, that's sick. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I think the only gain they're getting is the joy and happiness over seeing someone else's life potentially crash and burn.
Yeah.
Well, what's that?
It's like the Joker. I just want to see things burn.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah. Schadenfreude.
But we have it on a worldwide scale.
Yep. This episode is really depressing.
Again, Josh has a flower shop because he's real good at making flowers.
I'm burning it down.
And let's say he posts the thing about get your mother a flower on Mother's Day. You know, all of a sudden, all the people who just want to see him burn and suffer because he dare be sexist and say mother.
See, now I can't say anything
Why?
because somebody's gonna hit, find this this podcast and snip out this phrase that I use, and they're gonna go, boom. This is why he can't be, a pilot, or this is why he can't,
but if they're
live in my neighborhood.
If they're taking it out of context, that's exactly the problem that we're talking about.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
They can even if it is in context or out of context, it's like, well, we listen to people who cry wolf before anything else.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cry wolf, but yeah, I mean, again, it's stuff that's simple like that, and it just gets ridiculous over and over again when the calls for that happen. Instead of saying, hey, instead of going back to your question, how do we stop this stuff? Okay.
Right.
Obviously, you're not going to be the one to be able to force an enraged person to do this, but here's how you could help. If let's either online, in person, whatever. Okay. Let's say we're going to expand the scenario a little bit. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Me and you are, Josh still has his flower shop. He posts the sale about Mother's Day. Josh is Mr. Flower. He runs his social media account and his webpage, and he's trying to get sales. And he runs a promotion: get a flower for your mother for Mother's Day. Okay. Next assumption: you're actually active on Twitter and you watch it. Okay. I'm active on Twitter. That's not an assumption. I am. But the assumption is then that I get offended over Josh's statement. Okay. There's the assumption. I'm like, Josh, no. Mr. Flower, no. There are men who are mothers. Then they are not mothers. They are fathers on Mother's Day.
But
okay,
then...
No.
Oh,
Okay. We're just setting the scenario. Okay. And then Aaron, of course, sees that. Now, he has two options at that point. He can either engage me directly online, and try to make a Josh argument, as Josh was just about to do. Or, and you could do that in a public forum, or you could do that a direct one-on-one message by having that conversation with me directly, either in person or on a direct message type thing.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, look, you may not like this, and I don't care if you do or don't. That's up to you.
Right.
But maybe have that conversation in person and don't try to boycott or get him fired and removed because you don't like his stance on saying that a mother can only be a woman.
Yeah, I would rather have that conversation one-on-one than... Well,
that's what I said. You have that conversation one-on-one or over a direct message, so that way it's not in the public square, so to speak.
Yeah. That's much more beneficial, I would say.
Right, and then that's also how you kind of get to the root of the issue of why do I think Josh is a bigot and sexist because of his statement.
Yeah.
And maybe through that conversation, maybe you can make some points that maybe will sway me on something.
Yeah. Well, because it's funny. One of my favorite things to do if I see like a cute, funny, seems harmless video on Facebook, I've done it a couple times where I'll go to the comments section. Man, some people's arguments are like I don't understand how or why you think the way you do. But then it's like, okay, so, all right, yeah, fine, you have your opinion. It's kind of, to me, kind of stupid. But it's like, then you'll see all the people that think the same way as I do, but then they don't hold back. They just go off. And it just starts this huge, argument between all those different people. It's like, okay. It's like you're trying to make them look dumb on a public, forum. And it's like you're calling them out in public and trying to make them look stupid. And I feel like that's terrible.
It's terrible all around. Now, I'll admit sometimes on Facebook, I'll just for fun throw out a sarcastic comment just to kind of watch the world burn.
This is true. What I mean is, it's like if you if you comment in a way where you're not just like trying to make them feel stupid, okay. But I mean, I would much rather send that person a direct message and be like, dude, come on now. Cool it.
I don't have enough time in the world to send that many people direct messages.
No, yeah, for real though. That's
Let's be honest with the amount of people. And as a prime example, so the whole Portland thing that happened recently with Proud Boys and Antifa. Have you seen that? Anything from there?
I saw a short thing about Antifa.
So basically, the Proud Boys are saying we're going to come in like once a month and like march around the block, basically.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because one, Antifa then shows up, and then two, Portland police have to spend a ton of money in overtime. And the Portland mayor has already gone, please stop doing this. We don't have the money. And they are like, oh, we're just going to continue to do this until you start, arresting Antifa for, attacking people. And so this is just why I was like, I would run out of time doing this. There was a video where some people were trying to get into a bus to drive away, and Antifa comes and starts attacking them with the hammer. Okay.
Jeez.
Well, and they throw the hammer inside, right?
Yeah.
So then one of the guys takes the hammer and throws it out. Well, what do? They take the photo of the guy throwing the hammer out and say, look at the Proud Boys attacking Antifa with the hammer. And they ignore all the video of Antifa throwing in the hammer and attacking with the hammer and all that. Okay, so that's what I said. I would run out of time if I tried to do that. But at the same time, guess what? All those people that are listed as the Proud Boys and who are like, quote unquote, returning the property, returning the hammer, throwing it out of the bus after it was thrown at them, guess what? They're all canceled. They're being doxxed. Their employers are being called.
Yeah.
And they're being told, do not hire these people.
But obviously, the context of that picture, the hammer getting tossed back out, is out of context.
Right. Just like,
but nobody will believe them because this photo shows otherwise when the photo doesn't even capture the whole moment.
But there's video of them as well of the Antifa attacking with the hammer. They ignored the video
of Antifa.
Yeah, to view the photo. They ignored the video to view the photo.
So what gives you a quicker result? The photo.
Exactly.
You don't want to spend time watching a video to try and figure something out.
And I actually had an interaction with someone recently, and because they're like Sparky, because they talked about the photo. I was like, okay, look, if you watch the news and you watch this objectively, you'll see that Antifa was the one causing attacks. Like they beat down and pepper sprayed a person, just because they were in the vicinity of the Proud Boys. They weren't a Proud Boy; they were in the vicinity. It was an old man. They pepper sprayed and beat down. The wife had to cover him up to protect him as he was down on the ground. I mean, it was just crazy, and the police were doing nothing about it, which was the bad part. But I mean, all that aside, okay? Yep. This guy then says, okay, Sparky. He kept calling me Sparky for some reason. I don't know why. Huh. I don't know. I was like, is this some sort of... Eventually, I was like, are you trying to be racist against me? What's going on? Because I was like, I've never heard this reference. I was like, whatever it is. And
right.
And I'll admit, he finally got on my skin. I was like, okay, Flat Earther, here's the video. And I posted that to him, and I haven't heard from him since. I was like, you got to take everything in context.
Yeah.
You can't take a still and blow it and say this is the truth. Take the context ahead, before and after it.
Yeah.
How did that hammer get in there? Well, according to this video, it was thrown in there at people while they were trying to get in the bus to get away.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, so even when you have people on the left calling out saying, hey, look, maybe we need to look at Antifa a little bit more and say, yeah, but that's a whole other topic. Antifa's a whole other topic that will get
Antifa
probably get me killed, but that's okay.
Oh, that's a little intense.
They've been known to be violent in the past. There's a reason Trump wants to call them a terrorist organization.
Oh, I was just looking. When I looked up Antifa, it shows a bunch of dudes with. It's like those the blue, I don't know, barrels.
Yeah,
but they're cut in half and they're painted black, and they have the two flags in red on them, a little logo. The guys are dressed in all black with helmets and goggles.
Yeah, they're a little weird. But I mean, but getting back to the whole, cancel culture, someone finds this, right? Guess what? They'll be like, well, this Paul guy can't be hired because we don't like his politics. We don't like anything he says. Aurora, fire him because of that. You know that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Just
Now, here's the good part. We're small enough where that's probably not going to happen.
right.
But if something ever happens where it grows for whatever reason, guess what? 10 years from now, boom, 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 they come back and
Which makes me wonder, like, what about Steven Crowder?
oh, he's canceled from everywhere. I look at it, to be honest, okay? He's only gotten like, whatchamacallit, he has his sponsor, Walther, a gun manufacturer,
Yeah.
and Mug Club. He's been completely demonetized from YouTube.
Yeah.
He has no other support other than Mug Club giving him money. And I was listening to his Thursday episode because I'm not currently a Mug Club member, but so I was listening to the Thursday episode, and they're saying his lawyer handles about 14 to 18 requests a day of like lawsuit stuff, like where they're claiming he stole stuff or they're threatening to sue because of this, or like he has that socialism is for figs shirt, and his lawyer Bill Richardson, whatever, was like, yeah, we just got a lawsuit from someone who said that the socialism is for figs shirt is my face, and it was some transgender woman, and he's like, it's just cheaper to pay them to make them go away than because
to drag that out in court,
which they would win, but they would pay more in costs than.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know what, we're just gonna make them go away and just pay that real quick. But I mean, no, he says he gets like 14 to 18 a day that their lawyer has to basically handle for them.
That's disgusting.
The fact that there are those kind of people, like the fact that he has to hire a lawyer to deal with those kind of people, it's absurd.
Well, they're gonna go after him for anything. He says anything. Look, anything that he says in his changes. Have you ever watched one of his changes minds?
Oh, I have.
Okay,
and they're wonderful.
I'm actually surprised you've watched them. To be honest,
I've watched them with Aaron.
That's true.
Oh, that's why you watched them. Got him.
No, I've watched them.
But I mean, the people there, they yell and they scream and they, the guy in the DC area.
Oh my goodness!
That claimed he was Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
he was a little crazy.
Tell me about it.
But at the same time, what did Crowder do? He just moved instead of trying to,
fight him off.
Yep. Could Crowder, if he really wanted to do something? Yes, he could have. DC security was right there. White House security was right there. Secret Service was there and eventually intervened with the crazy guy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But Crowder wasn't like, Secret Service, go get him. Police, go get him. He's just like, no, we're just going to move.
Right.
He was letting the guy espouse his craziness.
Yeah.
And in the video, you could still hear him even after they moved.
Yeah.
You could still hear him easily.
He was still I swear that dude had like a megaphone or something.
That or he had great lungs and he should have been a singer.
Yeah.
He could have been the next Pavarotti.
No. No, thank you.
So, I mean, it's just like, okay. So, not my cup of tea, obviously, but he could have done it if he would have focused on his singing instead of his yelling, because yelling is fun.
Dude, yelling's metal.
Is yelling metal? Is that what you just saying?
Yes. Yelling is metal.
Again, what if in 5 years metal is deemed socially unacceptable and celebrities start saying, cancel all the metal users in the world?
Well, I'm going to have some fun.
You can have some fun being unemployed.
Yep. I don't care. All I need is my drums and my sticks and I'll be fine.
But that's the thing. Their goal would be to make you unemployable as a drummer even.
Well, I'll just play in the streets. I'll be homeless. It's fine. It'll all be all right.
It's just amazing to me how many people can't let something be. They have to intervene.
Yeah.
They have to be a part of something that dismantles something else. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because of what I believe. I'm okay with not having certain things and having certain things go certain ways. Because, I don't know. I guess the thought of, not being here forever, I'm going to go to a different place. I don't need to worry about everything on this planet. Maybe that's something that is in the back of my head that keeps me from being crazy like a lot of these people.
Maybe.
Because in all honesty, if a lot of these people did not do what they did, and actually opened their ears and looked at different people's opinions and sat down and talked, it'd be a whole lot different. The amount of people that just pinpoint everything and make everything around what they're going after negative. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean,
So this article I have up, it's, and I'm getting to what Josh just said, so I'm not trying to just like cancel what Josh just said here, and not cancel culture Joshing here.
Speaking of cancel,
the title of the article is just drove me nuts. It's called Youth-splaining.
what?
Youth-splaining, everything you need to know about cancel culture. But anyways, in here, they go, so is cancel culture good or bad? That's one of their sub-articles. And you know what they say? It's good because it's been helpful for people of color and LGBTQIA+.
Cancel culture?
Yeah.
Has been good for them?
Yeah, so basically what it's saying again, coming back to Josh is Mr. Flower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Josh puts out something, says, again, this is not Josh in real life. This is fantasy world.
never mind.
This is hypothetical fantasy world. This is not real Josh. You can clip that out if you want, but in full context, that's not Josh, okay? Josh puts out an advertisement. Mexicans pay 50% more.
There was actually a thing out there.
Okay. Just 1 second. 1 second, okay? I know exactly what you're talking about. There have been multiple times when that's happened, okay? And then me and Aaron see that and we call him out on that. That's what they're saying is good because we're keeping Josh from being racist against Mexicans and charging them more. Okay. But yeah, I know what Josh is talking about, where it was
a concert or something and they were going to have white people pay 2 times the price of
I brought that up. I told you about that one.
But
yeah,
no, I mean, it's
they eventually canceled that policy, by the way.
I mean, I understand what you're getting at about the whole about it being good. Like I understand that point, like keeping somebody from being too racist or something like that. But I feel like more
being too racist.
Oh, okay.
Is some racist okay?
Racist. I guess you could equate some racist with being stereotypical. Stereotypes, I guess you could equate it as being racist.
I can say the stereotypes of Mexicans. You can't.
But why not if it's true?
Anyways.
But no. I mean, I can see that being good to a point, but I feel like more often than not, it's...
But is that effective?
No.
Okay. That's the problem with cancel culture. It's not effective. And
you're destroying one part of society while trying to build another part, and you're not building
Well, it's not even destroying. Well, I shouldn't say it's not even building a part. It's, okay, again, hypothetical situation here. Mr. Flower does that racist thing, and me and Johnson organize a boycott and march outside his house and his place of work and get him shut down, okay? That doesn't change Josh's opinion. If anything, it probably cements it even more. It makes it worse.
Would for me.
Okay, so again, going back to Aaron's question, what do you do to, maybe change some of this? Instead of cancel culturing Josh out, maybe... beyond that conversation part, use this as an opportunity to educate some. Okay. Now, if he was, let's go for a whole other one here. This one's going to be fun. Hypothetical land.
Yay.
Okay. Aaron got a sex change operation to female.
Now you could be called a mother on Mother's Day.
No.
Okay.
Don't call me mother on Mother's Day.
Okay. No, here, I'm finishing setting up the situation. Okay.
Okay.
And here's the thing. This is what really happens out on Twitter land. And this is what people really think. Okay. And I'm setting up this scenario. In this hypothetical land, Amy doesn't exist. Josh is single. Aaron, as his post-surgery self, or maybe even pre-surgery, but started hormones, hits on Josh. And Josh says, no, I don't. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to date you. He doesn't say anything about Aaron being transgendered or ugly or that he's wearing a bra and a strapless shirt with a beard. It's like, why are you the bearded woman? He doesn't say anything about that. Okay? Just says, no thanks. And then Aaron goes and says, that transphobe won't date me because he won't date a transgender. He's therefore transphobic.
You disgust.
And then blasts him out on social media.
Oh, you best believe it.
Okay. So what, all of a sudden Josh cannot have a preference because he doesn't want to date you, therefore he is transphobic and therefore he must be destroyed?
Yep. Josh doesn't deserve an opinion
See, but
or a choice of what he likes personally. He has to like what I like.
obviously that's what, and you know what's sad? There are people who actually believe that.
Yeah, that is terrible.
I think what's sadder is the amount of people that will back up behind this person that does stuff like that.
Of course.
Where is
Because-
society's sanity in that? It just doesn't make sense. Like, it clearly shows that this person is shoving this other person down the drain because the person who feels like they were a victim didn't get what they want.
The reason that they're going to back up the Aarons of the world in this case is because Aaron got his victim points and they want to be along the side of the victim. You know, Aaron's a black trans, whatever. Okay.
Whatever.
Aaron's a black pre-surgical trans woman.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I got like string everything together here. I was like, what is he all?
So much.
Okay. But I mean, and they're going to look at him and be like, we have to appear to support him.
Because I'm just the low.
Well, let's be honest. Right now in America, it's cool to support the
It is.
LGBTQIA. Like everyone just wants to plaster it everywhere. We support the LGBTQIA, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care what you are. You're a person.
You are a human being.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Hopefully.
Unless you're Kree or species 8472 or something like that. That's a Star Trek species.
Oh.
But I mean, I don't care. You're a human, first and foremost. Just because you happen to like other men or you happen to like other women or whatever, first off, if I don't know you, that's really none of my business.
Yeah, don't care to really know.
And if I do know you, well, then I hope you know where I stand. And
Right.
we can have that conversation respectfully. And I'm not going to just kowtow and say, I'm sorry. I'm going to believe what you believe. I will respectfully disagree with you.
Yeah, but it's not a thing.
No, it's not, unfortunately,
You
nowadays.
can't disagree with me, Paul.
I'm sorry. I don't get my social justice points.
No.
And therefore, because of that, Josh must be murdered in the eyes of society. In the eyes of he must be canceled. Instead of maybe something more, I don't know, constructive
Yeah.
would be like, hey, Josh, maybe explain to him that you don't want to date him, not because you know he's transgender, but because you don't like your dates to have a beard bigger than yours.
I mean, I guess I could shave it.
Or just be like, hey, look, you're not Asian. I prefer Asians. Although there are other people that say if you prefer a certain race, you're racist.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other.
It's like, okay. We can't have. It's like, why do you pick this certain car over others? It's because you like it more.
Because I'm carist.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a personal preference as long as it's not bringing harm to others, I suppose.
Yeah, and also,
But, I mean, you could be harming me mentally because you don't like me just because I'm different.
okay, just because he doesn't want to date you doesn't mean he's transphobic.
But that hurt my feelings, and now you're harming me.
Because honestly, what happens then if maybe, he rejects you, but then sees the girl next to you and dates them and they turn out to be trans? Or is he transphobic still just because he rejected you?
At that point, I probably wouldn't get a second date because you would dox me everywhere that you could.
You'd be donezo.
But again, doxing really only helps if you're famous.
Yeah, true. You're a nobody.
They could SWAT him.
Besides the fact of people just want to see others suffer and burn. Just like there's no...
And the thing is,
such an unforgiving world.
And it's so easy to get that happening nowadays, too, especially with social media. I mean, look at what happened over at Macy's. Do you remember what happened over at Macy's? The plate? Josh? Macy's plate? Guys, read news once in a while, please.
The plate?
Yeah, it happened end of July. One woman tweeted about a plate at Macy's. One woman. Because she was upset about it. Because it was a plate, and it had 3 circles on it.
Oh.
The inner circle said skinny jeans. Then it said favorite jeans. And then it said mom jeans. Mom Jean's being the bigger portion.
Yeah.
And she's like, how can I get these from Macy's banned in all 50 states? And they banned it that day. It got so many retweets and all that.
I don't understand people.
And it sucked to be the guy who designed that, or the girl.
It was a company. Yeah. And the company said it was supposed to provide a helpful and hilarious visual cue. Yeah, we're canceling everything now. We're canceling plates even.
Dude, what's next? What is next? What's the next thing to be canceled?
Well, if social justice warriors have their way, anyone who doesn't espouse social justice values.
Would I be one of those things to be canceled then?
All of us in this room would be.
Dang it.
Well,
I guess I'll just have to start changing.
And the problem with the internet nowadays, everything's online and it stays online pretty much.
Forever.
Because even if you try to delete it, guess what?
Someone's got it.
If someone's got it, and guess what would happen?
People are going to find out about it.
Eventually, at some point.
Is there anything wrong in this world?
No, Josh, this world is perfect.
Is there anything wrong in this world?
Yes. Because at this point, it seems like everything is right.
Have you looked in Hong Kong recently?
No. I get it. I was kind of being...
Were you being sarcastic?
Yes.
I wasn't picking up any sarcasm.
But no, I mean, it's like if somebody feels a certain way or wants to do something a certain way, it's like there's nothing out there, no higher power that can tell them that is wrong.
It's because your generation was never told no when they were growing up.
You fall into the same generation.
No, I don't.
Technically by a year.
I do not.
He does.
For one. I was telling him, he was like, well, you mainly hang out with people from it, so you might as well be one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I do does not mean I am.
Yeah.
He
You are
is.
what you hang out with.
So, Mr. Johnson, how many more years in the future, let me pull that back a second. Mr. Johnson, how many years in the future will this appear in?
To ruin my life?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years.
So 10 years from now, you're going to become jobless
Yes.
because of everything you said in here.
Because hopefully, maybe some miraculous way, I'll be in a famous touring band. And then people be like,
And
you
then,
can't live like that. You can't have that nice lifestyle.
and then,
Even though it's not, depending on how well we got known.
and then
might
your
not be
band
that
will
great.
feel pressure and they'll have to kick you out.
Yep. And then they'll just,
Because how dare you have an opinion on something that goes against the popular opinion, the zeitgeist of the time?
it's just me, man. I like what I like. You like what you like. Leave me alone.
No, you have to bow down to public opinion.
I will not do that.
Oh, and you guys have to, in some ways, you have to bow down to popular opinion that you need a singer for your band.
Nope. Nope. They're just ignorant.
They just can't see your art. Is that it?
Because it's not good enough. Dang it.
See, I've always looked at the government, eventually turning us into robots, where we all have to think the same thing, say the same thing.
It's not going to be the government. That's society.
It's society.
I was like, where is he going with this?
Ain't nobody changing my mind on nothing, JK. That's not true. But I'm never going to think.
So what I foresee in society happening forward, if you haven't seen it, go watch the show Community and look at the episode Meow Meow Beans.
Meow meow beans.
Basically, it's like any interaction you have with someone, you vote them, you give them a score, and the higher your score is, the more weight the score that you give the person has. So if a 5-star person rates you as 1 star, your score tanks. But if a 1-star person rates you as 5-star, your score might stay the same or go up a little bit. So you need to impress the higher score people and everything. And so it's if you express the correct opinions, your score goes up and you can be with the wonderful elites. And if you express the wrong opinions, your score goes down. It's a great commentary on society as a
I
whole.
don't like this.
And that all happened before all this outrage culture and cancel culture kind of even hit the forefront and the mainstay of society. It's great. I enjoy it. That's a great show.
It's on Netflix.
I do not know if it's on Netflix.
No.
At the same.
Well, that doesn't help me, Paul.
Mr. Brewer, got anything else to say, sir?
Negative.
All
That
right.
means no.
Yeah, I know,
I'm just kidding.
Mr. Johnson.
Uh,
On the plus side, now that I know he's a mini mother, I will never confuse you two again.
oh, fingers crossed.
At most, I'll go, Brewer dearest.
Brewer dearest.
And
Man.
he's shaking his head.
It's upsetty like me, my spaghetti. Ouch. I don't know. Don't take part in cancel culture. It's stupid. Stupid. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just, that kind of stuff's ridiculous. Because I thought it was always so cool to not be the same. Like, it was cool to be different. And now it's just like, now we all have to agree with each other. We can't be a whole lot different from each other. At least on, like, big core things, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. And don't find joy in ruining someone else's livelihood, because that's pretty crappy.
Yeah, and just because you don't agree with the opinion that they have.
Yeah. You mind your business. They can do what they want to do. You do your thing. As long as it ain't illegal and ain't going to get you in trouble, then you're fine. Just go about your own life. Don't try and mess up others because you want to.
And now,
It's not.
and now obviously, like at least in America, I don't know about other countries. I'm sure this is the case in other countries. There are anti-discrimination laws. So, that scenario where Josh was charging more for one particular race over another or whatever, that's technically illegal.
Yeah.
So if it's illegal, okay, bring it up,
Yeah.
But if it's an opinion, Josh doesn't want to date trans Aaron, then you know what? Let it be. That's.
I was waiting to hear trans Amy. And I don't know. I don't know why.
No, as much as you might disagree with that and you might think that Josh is a jerk because of that move, how dare he not want to date a trans woman, aka a man in drag? Or how dare Paul just call a trans woman a man in drag? Okay.
Shameful.
Okay. As much as you might not agree with that opinion,
It's your opinion, yeah.
first off, be respectful above all else. And like Aaron was saying, don't just be like, I disagree with you. I must now get you canceled for everything that you do and get you removed from all that you do.
Because that's ridiculous.
Is it ridiculous?
It's ridiculous.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Why is it ridiculous?
Because it's just mean.
So, I mean,
Unfair.
it's unfair. So, I mean, just be. Yeah, that's all I can say
Try
about
and be
that.
courteous. Don't be mean.
Be courteous. If you disagree, disagree.
If
But do it the right way.
have a little bit of forgiveness.
Yeah, have a little bit of forgiveness because guess what? If we screw up, I'm sure all of us would want a little bit of forgiveness in our lives as well.
Yes. Oh, big time.
I'm not even talking about spiritual forgiveness. I'm
Big-
just talking
no,
about,
in
I'm just
general.
I'm just talking about in social forgiveness
Yeah.
in general. We say the wrong thing in public. Guess what? I'm sure we want others to forgive us and not hold that against us. I'm thinking of a barbecue joint.
Oh.
Uh-huh. That's what comes to mind with that.
Forgiveness. Yes.
But
It's wonderful.
you want to have that same compassion and grace that you would want extended to you, extend it to others.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. We keep forgetting to do that because we want to be so caught up in the outrage to prove ourselves right and to get the virtue points. That in order to get the virtue points, we must destroy and sink everyone else under the mire.
Yes. Power.
Is it power?
The power within. Just
Bad.
bad timing.
I kind of hijacked anything else there, Mr.
No, that's it.
Okay. Rate us on iTunes, on Stitcher. Give us a review. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy. Share it with your loved one.
Share it
Share-
with a frenemy.
Share it with your neighbor. Share it with your wife or husband. In Josh's case, share it with an Amy.
Share it with an Amy. She is her. Wow. She is her own kind.
I loved his reaction, like, huh? You know?
What's that supposed to mean?
Just trying to get him to interact, and it's just,
He's just looking at cars and stuff.
yeah, I guess we're going to have to cancel Josh then. We're going to have to cancel Culture Josh.
Yes.
Oh, he's shaking his head yes.
All right.
All right, Josh is canceled.
Yep.